The News Hour at 10, co-powered by Siska, Light Years Ahead, Rajasthan Tourism and HP Racer.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. 24 hours after the courts in Pakistan freed 26/11 mastermind Hafiz Saeed because the state failed to produce proof against this bloodthirsty terrorist, your channel is releasing excerpts from 200 minutes of raw, unedited footage. This footage is part of the dossier handed to Pakistan by the Indian government at least 6.5 years ago. It contains the confessions of a terrorist who has been recruited by Hafiz Saeed directly through his closest aides and has been funded and trained by senior Pakistan military officers or agency wale, like he says, who are on deputation to the spy agency, the ISI. Now, in these tapes, this terrorist confirms what Pakistan deliberately hides from the world. Times Now was at the forefront of reporting the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. Ladies and gentlemen, 64 hours of non-stop coverage on this very channel of the most dastardly attack on Indian soil that claimed 166 lives. We will make sure that that man is brought to justice. This is part of that effort.
कैसे कहा आपने पाकिस्तान को?
ट्रेकिंग बाय वॉक।
जर्नी कितने दिन तक था?
3 से 4 दिन की जर्नी थी टोटल।
कब आप लोग गए थे उधर पाकिस्तान को?
आई थिंक जून का महीना था वो।
आपके साथ गाइड भी आया था क्या पाकिस्तान तक? अबू बसर?
नहीं, वो तो वहीं से वापस चला गया था आधे रास्ते से। वहाँ से फिर जो पाकिस्तान से लोग आए थे वो हमें लेकर गए थे।
आप लोगों को पाकिस्तान आर्मी को मालूम था कि आप लोगों ने मिलिटेंट ट्रेनिंग के लिए आया है ऐसे?
हाँ, नहीं, पाकिस्तान आर्मी को कश्मीरियों के बारे में, वो जो कश्मीरी रिक्रूट लड़के थे उनके बारे में पता था कि वो ट्रेनिंग के लिए आए। मेरे बारे में नहीं पता था।
अच्छा, वो लोगों ने आपको रिसीव किए थे क्या उधर? और क्या हुआ?
फिर उन्होंने हमें भेज दिया एलईटी वालों के पास। एलईटी वालों के पास फिर हम पहुँचे।
कैसे आप लोगों ने उधर गए थे?
भाई वो व्हीकल लेकर के आया था एक एलईटी का कोई, वो हमें लेकर के फिर उनके सेक्टर कहते हैं उसे, सेक्टर पे ले गया था डेट। वो जहाँ पे हमें ले गया था वहाँ का वो कमांडर कह सकते हैं। कमांडर, मैंने कहा ना, वहाँ का
कमांडर। अच्छा, वो कैसे मदद किया आप लोगों को?
उसने कोई मदद नहीं की ना। उसने तो बस वो चूँकि वहाँ पे कमांडर था तो वो उसने हमें रिसीव किया। उसके बाद उसने हमें भेज दिया एजेंसी पाकिस्तान एजेंसीज के पास।
अच्छा,
वहाँ पे कर्नल मूसा ने मिलना था हमसे, लेकिन कर्नल मूसा मिला नहीं। उसका कोई मेजर था असिस्टेंट, वो हमसे मिला। और उसने फिर वहाँ पे जितने भी लोग ग्रुप आते हैं कश्मीर से, JNK से, उनको रजिस्टर करते हैं। तो फिर नाम हम सबके लिखे, सबसे वो कश्मीर के JNK के हालात, क्या सिचुएशन चल रही है वो सब। फिर वो कंप्लीट, फिर वो उसने हमें जाने दिया।
कौन था वो जो ISI ऑफिसर?
असल में मिलना तो कर्नल मूसा से था, लेकिन कर्नल मूसा उस टाइम मौजूद नहीं था। तो हम किसी मेजर से मिले थे।
क्या नाम था उसका?
कंफर्म नहीं है, लेकिन मुझे उसका नाम डाउट होता है। खालिद नाम था शायद उसका।
अच्छा, तो क्या कहा उन्होंने?
कुछ नहीं ना, उसने असल में उनका काम ही यही होता है कि जो कश्मीर से नए लड़के आते हैं उनको रजिस्टर करते हैं वहाँ पे। और जो पाकिस्तानी लड़के अंदर से फाइट करके आते हैं कश्मीर से, उनसे फिर वो वहाँ की कश्मीर की सिचुएशन, सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस की सिचुएशन और ये सारे कुछ है ना वहाँ पे पूछते हैं कश्मीर के लोगों के बारे में। वहाँ पे ये जो है तहरीक जो चल रही है उस कितना मतलब कितनी शिद्दत है उसमें, लोग एक्टिवली सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं या क्या सिचुएशन है, ये सारी मतलब कश्मीर की सारी सिचुएशन जो है ना ये वो पूछते हैं।
इस्लामाबाद गए थे आप? किसने मिला आपको? कौन ही वो अब्दुल
अजीज़ मुज़म्मिल जो है वो असल में मुज़म्मिल जो है वो उस ग्रुप का लीडर था जो नया ग्रुप इस्टेब्लिश किया गया था। उस ग्रुप में जो अब्दुल अजीज़ है ये रेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया में जो वर्क होते हैं अदर दैन कश्मीर उसका उस सेकंड इन कमांड कह सकते हैं। ऑपरेशन चीफ ऑपरेशन इज़ ज़कीर रहमान लखवी।
अच्छा।
तो अंडर हिम देयर आर 4 ग्रुप्स। All 4 groups are independent to each other. One is Azam Chima, second is Muzammil, third is Abu Al-Khama, and there is one group of Yaqub. मैं मुज़म्मिल से मिला।
And fourth group is
याकूब।
अच्छा, ठीक है। हाँ।
So that was the entire route. He explains how he went across into POK. In Muzaffarabad, he got his training. But now listen into tape 2, ladies and gentlemen, and this is where he talks about the Amir of them all, Hafiz Muhammad Saeed, and he says it himself. Listen in.
अबू नसर जावेद जो है ना वो एलईटी का ऑल ट्रेनिंग कमांड है। जितनी भी एलईटी में ट्रेनिंग होती है या ट्रेनिंग कैंप जितने हैं सबकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इसी आदमी के पास है। और दूसरा जो है अबू हनज़ला वो उसका डिप्यूटी था वहाँ पे। अगर वो नहीं होता है वहाँ पे अबू नसर जावेद तो उसकी जगह पे जो है ना ये काम करता है।
अच्छा, ये दौरे आम कितने दिन तक ट्रेनिंग है?
ये 21 डेज़ की है, 3 वीक।
कौन कौन थे वो ट्रेनिंग पे? कौन कौन ट्रेनिंग दिए थे आपको?
अच्छा, ट्रेनिंग जिन्होंने दिया मुझे सबके नाम तो याद नहीं है, लेकिन हनज़ला था और अबू मोहम्मद और अबू आकाशा।
कौन इंचार्ज कमांडर कौन है?
वो इस ट्रेनिंग कैंप का इंचार्ज था वो अबू सईद।
अभी एलईटी का वो चीफ कमांडर कौन है? अभी एलईटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एग्जिस्टिंग है ना?
अगर हाँ अभी एलईटी की बात करें तो ज़कीर रहमान लखवी है।
रहमान लखवी, अच्छा, वो चीफ कमांडर है क्या?
लेकिन उससे ही बड़ा जो सबसे बड़ा है पूरे जमा एलईटी का जो है ना वो है हाफिज मोहम्मद सईद। लेकिन वो प्रीचिंग डिपार्टमेंट ज़्यादा देखता है, ऑपरेशनल हेड इसमें जो है ना ज़कीर रहमान लखवी को मारा रखा है।
अच्छा, इंडिया का ऑपरेशनल इंचार्ज कौन है?
इंडिया का ऑपरेशनल इंचार्ज यूसुफ भी है, मुज़म्मिल भी है।
नेपाल का?
नेपाल का मैंने कहा ना हर तंजीम एक दूसरे से इंडिपेंडेंट है।
सबसे बड़े आका जो है हाफिज मोहम्मद सईद, and he talks about the entire link and how this operates. There is more, ladies and gentlemen, paucity of time and we are not putting out all of it, but you understand and you get the crux. And tape number 3, very, very critical. Here is why the Pakistan government will make him a state guest by putting him on this entire clause of house arrest and treat him like a VVIP, but they will not touch a hair on his head. And the reason why is he sits and engages directly with the army and the ISI. So the powers, the deep state that controls Pakistan engages directly with Hafiz Saeed and they work in tandem. And it's this man that confesses it. Listen in.
वहाँ से ट्रेनिंग कंप्लीट करके हम फिर वहाँ चले गए।
कहाँ?
यहाँ वाली। असल में वो एजेंसी वाले ट्रेनिंग देते हैं इन लड़कों को, जो एलईटी के जो कैडर्स ट्रेनिंग रिक्रूट ट्रेनिंग होते हैं ना उनको फिर एजेंसी वाले बुलाते हैं अपने पास। तो तो हम फिर एजेंसी वालों ने हमें बुलाया था अपने ट्रेनिंग कैंप में, जो मियांवाली में था। वहाँ उन्होंने हमें ट्रेनिंग दी थी। तो असल में ट्रेनिंग तो सारी फिर वहाँ भी हुई, लेकिन वहाँ पे यह था कि रिसोर्सेज ज़्यादा थे। एलईटी वालों के पास तो उतने रिसोर्सेज हैं नहीं, एजेंसी थी, वो गवर्नमेंट का काम है। तो फिर बहुत सारी चीज़ें वहाँ पे प्रोवाइड थी। फायर वायर बहुत ज़्यादा करवाए उन्होंने उधर।
वो कमांडर कौन था उधर?
उधर एक मेजर था, उसका नाम नहीं पता चला हमें कभी भी। आर्मी का ऑब्वियसली आर्मी का मेजर। हाँ, आर्मी नहीं कहते हैं उनको। हाँ, ये है कि वो आर्मी से ही आते हैं, लेकिन वो हैं एजेंसी, ISI जिसको कहते हैं हम यहाँ पे। लेकिन वहाँ पे उसको ISI नहीं कहते, वहाँ पे सिर्फ एजेंसी, ओनली एजेंसी वर्ड यूज़ करते हैं उनके लिए। तो वो एजेंसी वाले कहते हैं उनको।
व्हाट वाज द डिसीजन टेकन देयर? क्या डिसीजन लिए लोग फाइनली इन द कॉन्फ्रेंस?
नहीं, असल में वो कॉन्फ्रेंस था सिंपैथी गेन करने के लिए पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी का, पाकिस्तानी पीपल्स का। बिकॉज उनका जो वो है ना, एलईटी का जो मेन चीफ जिसको कहते हैं, अमीर कहते हैं, उसका नाम है हाफिज़ मोहम्मद सईद। उसको पाकिस्तानी गवर्नमेंट ने नज़रबंद किया हुआ था, हाउस अरेस्टिंग जिसको कहते हैं, उसके घर में। उसको बाहर निकलने की परमिशन नहीं थी। इसी वजह से उसके मतलब इसलिए कि इनका मतलब वही कहते थे, ये जो भी आता था स्टेज पर वो यही कहता था कि हम पाकिस्तान में वेलफेयर का काम करते हैं, हम लोगों को दीन से, रिलीजन से जोड़ते हैं, हम पाकिस्तान में सोशल वर्क करते हैं। तो हमारे जो है उसको चीफ को जेल भेज दिया जाता है। और जो लोग मतलब पूरी दुनिया में जो लोग जुल्म कर रहे हैं और इंडिया में या कहीं भी, तो वो जो है मज़े से घूम रहे हैं। तो ये मतलब ये गलत है। इस पर सिंपैथी गेन करने की कोशिश थी ये पूरा 3 दिन का।
बाद में आप लोगों को कहाँ लेके गए थे?
फिर मुजफ्फराबाद आ गए वहाँ से।
और क्या ट्रेनिंग दी थी आपको?
वो उसमें स्पेशल कुछ क्लासेस रह गई थी हमारी, हाइड आउट्स की, सर्वाइवल की, और ये सब क्लासेस हुई हमारी वहाँ पे। फिर हमारा वो ख़त्म हो गया, फिनिश। हाँ, फिर उसके बाद ट्रेनिंग के बाद जब मैं इस्लामाबाद आया, वहाँ इन्होंने मुझे ज़की से मिलाया था। ज़कीउर रहमान लखवी साहब जो चीफ हैं एलईटी के ऑपरेशनल फील्ड के, उनसे मिलाया था मुझे। और उन्होंने जो है मुझे अब्दुल्ला के हवाले किया था मुझे, अब्दुल्ला मुजाहिद साहब के। और
वो कौन है अब्दुल्ला मुजाहिद?
वो काफ़ी मतलब रिस्पेक्टेड आदमी है। वो जम्मू कश्मीर में फ़ाइट कर चुका है 4-5 साल इंडियन आर्मी से।
अच्छा। उसके
बाद फिर जो है वो पूरे जम्मू सेक्टर का लॉन्चिंग कमांडर था किसी टाइम में।
वो क्या कहते हैं?
अभी वो जो है ना, अभी आई थिंक कंफर्म नहीं हूँ कि ISI और एलईटी के बीच की कड़ी कहते हैं ना, कोऑर्डिनेटर, जस्ट लाइक।
अच्छा, बाद में क्या कहा वो?
ज़कीउर रहमान साहब ने कि वो मुझे सेंड कर रहे हैं एजेंसीज़ के पास, तो वहाँ पे जाऊँ मैं और वो काम लेंगे मुझसे एजेंसी वाले। मैंने पूछा भी कि मुझे एजेंसी के पास क्यों भेज रहे हो? उसने कहा कि वो एजेंसी वाले हमेशा कहते हैं कि उनके पास जो काम करने के लिए लड़के आते हैं वो किसी काम के नहीं होते, पैसा लेते हैं और काम नहीं करके देते। तो हमें कोई ऐसा आदमी चाहिए जो डेडिकेटेड हो, जेन्युइन वर्कर। तो हम चाहते हैं कि आपको जो है ना हम उनको दें और हम देखें कि वो आपसे क्या काम लेते हैं। मतलब वो रियल में काम लेना चाहते हैं या फिर सिर्फ वो एक बहाना मतलब करते हैं कि हमारे पास लड़के ही नहीं है। तो आप जाइए देखें, हम देखना चाहते हैं वो आपसे क्या काम लेते हैं। इसलिए उसने मुझे भेजा था। नहीं, अब्दुल्ला मुजाहिद जो थे ना, वो मुझे लेकर फिर पाकिस्तानी एजेंसीज का वो कर्नल था, क्यानी, सुनील क्यानी, हाँ क्यानी था वो, कर्नल क्यानी, उससे मिलाया था मुझे।
अच्छा, कौन सा जगह पे?
नहीं, लाहौर में।
अच्छा, उधर क्या हुआ?
उधर उसने मुझसे 1-2 क्वेश्चन पूछे और फिर उसने मुझे मतलब ओके कर दिया कि ठीक है, मतलब उसने मुझे रख लिया अपने पास, अपने सेफ हाउस में भेज दिया मुझे।
You are fighting for Muslim rights, ना?
We are different. ISI is different, LET is different. ISI देखें, ISI तो एक गवर्नमेंट की वो है ना, गवर्नमेंट का एक सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी है, तो उसका तो वो तो फिर अपने गवर्नमेंट के लिए, अपनी कंट्री के वेलफेयर के लिए वर्क करेगी ना, तो वो ऑब्वियसली फिर जस्ट वो अपने नेबर कंट्रीज़ में डिस्टेबिलिटी लाना, ये तो इनका वो है मतलब गोल है। लेकिन LET जो है वो डिफरेंट चीज़ है। उनका गोल वो जो है ना, वो टिपिकल एक रिलीजियस बेस, मतलब रिलीजियस एक मोटिव है उनका कि पूरी दुनिया में इस्लाम को फैलाना। तो दोनों अलग अलग लोग हैं। एजेंसी वालों की जो है उसूल काम करना वो डिफरेंट तरीके से होता है, LET का डिफरेंट तरीके से होता है।
They work together, but their attempts and efforts are different. LET wants to spread the caliphate dream across the world. Their driver is religion, whereas the ISI and the army, the Pak deep state, wants to keep the neighborhood on the boil because that suits their purpose. Madhavdas Gopalakrishnan, to whom we credit this news break, these 200 minutes of tape that we're going to put out here and we're putting out the excerpts of, joins us on this broadcast on the News Hour tonight. And Madhav, Pakistan has been sitting on this for how long? India has submitted this in parts and in full across its various dossiers, 7 dossiers that we have submitted. And yet they believe they don't have enough to prosecute him under the Anti-Terrorism Act.
But that's just what they say, Anand. The reality is quite different, and as is evident not just to all Indians, not just to all Pakistanis now, but to the world about the kind of information that Pakistan has been trying to bury. Here you have very clearly for the first time on national television the entire modus operandi of the LET split wide open, right from the top, Hafiz Saeed, to Zakir Rahman Lakhvi, to the 4 commanders of the various teams that are there, Abu Chima, as well as, in fact, he goes on to describe his own boss, who is Muzammil or Yusuf, and talking about the other 2 sort of verticals, if I may put it, of the LET, all described and given a particular role. On the one hand, Abu Chima is in fact in charge of looking at the state of Jammu and Kashmir, whereas Muzammil is charged with looking at the rest of India. And that's why they build bases in Bangladesh, they build bases in Nepal to carry out a number of attacks, details of which are so voluminous. We just, I mean, there's just a paucity of time. But the important point that you made over there as far as ISI as well as LET is concerned, in fact, he uses the example of blasts that have taken place in mosques across the country to say that these are the sort of blasts that ISI would have conducted, because the agency just does not have any kind of belief, it does not have any kind of target, it just wants to spread, you know, chaos and mayhem in any part of India. That's the brief of the ISI. Whereas as far as the LET is concerned, they want to, you know, target those individuals, those institutions, as well as, you know, those persons who are responsible for building India as a country. That's the target. They would like to avoid targeting the common man. But those are the sort of statements that have come out very clearly, of course, taking the name of Hafiz Saeed, taking the name of Zakir Rahman Lakhvi, time and again bringing out how closely Hafiz Saeed is very, you know, very much part of the terror network and very much key and integral part of this network, as well as the close functioning of the LET and the ISI. All of this and much more that we've exposed for the very first time on national television, Anand.
Yes, and there is more to come. I thank you very much for this update and for standing by here with us on the News Hour and bringing us to these details. We will put out more. There is so much to share and it's diabolical. We've been waiting patiently all these years, hoping against hope that Pakistan will act, but they didn't, and that's what's compelled us to put these tapes out today and to expose Pakistan once again. And we will continue to do that till the time we get justice for what's been perpetrated on our soil. Now, ladies and gentlemen, see how the Pak government actually heels be in front of this man, a globally proscribed terrorist and a double honorific attached by the Pak Foreign Office today. Listen in.
Regarding Hafiz Saeed Sabri, the question pertains to Ministry of Interior. Regarding Hafiz Saeed Sabri, the question pertains to Ministry of Interior. Regarding Hafiz Saeed Sabri, the question pertains to Ministry of Interior. Regarding Hafiz Saeed Sabri, the question pertains to Ministry of Interior. Regarding Hafiz Saeed Sabri, the question pertains to Ministry of Interior.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
He couldn't even look into the cameras and to the people who asked the question. The Pak Foreign Office spokesperson, Nazre Churakar, Sar Jhukakar, he was saying regarding Hafiz Saeed Sahab Ji. Maruf Raza, good evening, our consulting editor with us. Colonel Arisan Singh, good evening. Kamdil Abbas, defense analyst, joining us from Islamabad. And I also have Air Marshal Abid Rao, defense analyst, joining us from Karachi. Good evening, gentlemen. I'm going to start with Maruf Raza. That says itself why they sat on this proof for so many years, Maruf.
Well, Anand, you see, there has been a hope in New Delhi that regardless of whatever pressure is brought to bear on Pakistan, Pakistan for its own good will see the merit of confronting people like Hafiz Saeed and the monster that they have ended up creating. Now, the evidence for this comes from the fact that in December 2001, the US declared Hafiz Saeed and Lashkar-e-Toiba persona non grata, sort of a terrorist organization. Then in 10th December 2008, the UN listed him very clearly under 1267 resolution, 1989 and other affiliated resolutions of the UN Security Council as the leader of Lashkar-e-Toiba and therefore involved in terror, financing and other ideological activities leading to terrorist activities which continue to be a cause of concern to us. The third thing which worries me is the fact that in Pakistan, he has been allowed to be built up into now a larger than life figure, because not only was he earlier the leader of a terrorist outfit and also a charitable organization wearing two hats at the same time. Lashkar-e-Toiba had a militant role, Jamaat-ud-Dawa within Pakistan had a charitable role. So in Pakistan he is projected as the nice guy. In India we have seen his other face from 26/11 onwards. In fact, much before that, from 1993-94 onwards, when the Lashkar-e-Toiba began picking up momentum in J&K. Now, the point at issue is that Hafiz Saeed today is being further legitimized as a political entity of serious consequence in Pakistan's political discourse, having led schools, charities, madrasas, earthquake initiatives, even dispensing justice through legal systems. So he has become virtually the most powerful entity on Pakistan's Punjab and the western border that we have with Pakistan, which Pakistan calls the eastern border. There is no other personality who has his kind of clout on public space. In fact, my information also says that virtually every town, major town in Pakistan, in every major street of Pakistan, shops have boxes for donations for Lashkar-e-Toiba and its operations in J&K and India. So it's a large consensus on the ground which is now existing in favor of Hafiz Saeed. So this Foreign Office spokesman or Interior Ministry spokesman, he knows that he is referring to a man who has the blessings of the state. He is, a quasi head of an organization which is even funded by the Punjab government in their annual budgetary fundings. The Lashkar-e-Toiba gets money. So, it is completely legitimized in Pakistan. The question for me is a bigger one, that why hasn't India pushed this evidence on the international stage and told the world that we are now confronted with this? Pakistan is doing nothing about it. And it is not just this government, the previous government and successive governments have been a bit lethargic or a bit reticent in coming out with this evidence, because there is hope in some quarters of South Bloc that eventually we will have good relations with Pakistan, Hafiz Saeed or no Hafiz Saeed. Now that is a central error of judgment that we have continued to live with, and until and unless we turn the course and become much more aggressive with providing evidence of this nature. For instance, Anand, I also want to raise another issue. Hafiz Saeed is being legitimized in Pakistan, and we are having a problem in giving exile status to Mr. Bukti, who is now not getting any further extension of his application in Switzerland, the man who represents the Baluch cause. We have had His Holiness Dalai Lama and his people with us for years. Why can't we also give shelter to another lot of people who speak up for freedom in Pakistan? Pakistan is always hammering us about freedom, human rights, etc. in Kashmir, and we are on the back foot and defensive there. If we really feel so strongly about putting Pakistan in the dock, we should go hammer and tongs with every tool available to us. Hafiz Saeed apart, Mr. Bukti, there are many others who are in POK and elsewhere who are completely traumatized by Pakistan, and we are giving them complete free space to badger us even in our television channels and elsewhere, whereas we are doing nothing.
That will happen. That will happen.
So you have to lead, you have to steer at that.
But let's do something. Let's do something. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. And we were the first to put out Brahmdag Bukti's appeal here on Times Now too. But the story today, Maruf Raza, is to expose those people who will add a double honorific to a UN proscribed terrorist in Hafiz Saeed Sahab Ji. That's what they believe. And that too, they will bow their heads down. Another Churake they will call, take his name.
Anand, you see,
that's the level to which a terrorist is now dictating terms in Pakistan. This government is beholden to him, and that is shocking, Maruf. That is shocking because we don't know what the true intent is.
Anand, you can question Nawaz Sharif's legitimacy to rule Pakistan. A kangaroo court dismissed him. You can question Zardari's presidency in Pakistan, but there isn't a man today who can question Hafiz Saeed in Pakistan and sleep a peaceful night. I can guarantee you that, because he is an extension of the deep state of Pakistan.
Is that true?
We must understand that. We must go now international with the evidence.
Yes, we will. And let's ask our Pakistani counterparts and guests this evening before I go across to Colonel Arison Singh. Let's ask Kandil Abbas. Can you take on Hafiz Saeed? Can you take on a man who is wanting to perpetrate and foment terror? As a defense analyst, I'm sure you're very well aware of what your Anti-Terrorism Act states very clearly.
Actually, the view coming from
who are you asking?
Friend is a very aggressive view, and it is looking like a really aggressive view, because we are forgetting that Hafiz Saeed remained under preventive detention for more than 10 months, and government have been trying to provide evidences to court. And in Pakistan,
you're trying to say we have sent you, because you have David Coleman Headley's confession, you have Ajmal Kasab's confession, you have this man Sabauddin's confession with you, and you are saying the judicial system is strong enough.
Yes, in Pakistan, judicial system is strong enough, because
where is it? Is it because
prime minister, even ministers, and in this case, even the government have been
that is exactly what Maruf Raza said. You can charge anybody but Hafiz Saeed
to provide evidences and strong evidences.
मान लीजिए ना Kandil Abbas साहब.
Pakistan. This.
Yes, Maruf, go ahead.
Anand, may I? Anand, with respect to the point raised by the Colonel, I just want to remind him that firstly, the US would not, the US would not have declared him a terrorist with a bounty on his head without evidence. The UN Security Council resolution of 10 December 2008 would not have named him and listed him with all the details without evidence. Now, you are saying that Pakistan's system is strong. Okay, you must respect your system. But let me ask you two questions, sir. Firstly, the killer of Salman Taseer, when he was being marched into the courts, all your lawyers threw petals on his feet instead of hounding him or standing up against him for openly murdering Salman Taseer, whatever his motivations were. And tell me one case of not the military deciding who's a terrorist and hanging the person in the military courts, which are kangaroo courts. But tell me one case, sir. Sir, tell me one case where your judges have given a judgment on terrorism and survived to see the light of the day. एक ने बेचारे ने दिया था, वो बेचारा गायब हो गया. दूसरे ने दे के वो भाग गया आपका देश छोड़ के. So there is no case of judges standing up for labeling people as terrorists, and even witness protection is not provided by your law. So why are you swearing about a system which has inconsistencies, sir? Give me one evidence and I rest my case.
No, even in this case, one day before he was allowed to go free, scot-free, the judge sitting, presiding on this case, recused himself. The judge was replaced even in this case, Mr. Kandil Abbas. Even in this case, the judge was replaced. Even in this case, the judge was replaced. And suddenly the opinion changed. That's what happened. Air Marshal Abid Rao, can anybody question Hafiz Saeed in your country today? Is there any judge worth his salt? Is there any lawyer worth his salt? Is there any government worth his salt, minister worth his salt, who will come and question this man?
He remained.
Yes, sab dar gaye usse. Is he the one dictating terms
my
today?
My friend Maroof Raza. The case of Salman Taseer, Mumtaz Qadri was hanged. He was giving a death penalty and he was hanged against a lot of expectations in Pakistan and outside that this man may survive. That is number one. Number two, when Nawaz Sharif is removed, you call Pakistan Supreme Court a kangaroo court. Well, you are a citizen of another country. You can say so. But we have developed this faith in our judicial system now that, it will deliver. It has been late. There are many such bad examples in the past, but it has delivered.
Air Marshal Abid Rao, if the court wants to deliver, sir, then why is it that this evidence that we are putting out today was not delivered to the court? Okay. If you believe the courts will deliver, then ask this government and ask the people why this evidence has not been tabled. You tell me, sir, why did the judge recuse himself a day before Hafiz Saeed was free? Why did the judge recuse himself?
Why don't you let me speak? Let me speak. I'll come on the subject. I will come on the subject. Let me speak.
Please speak, sir. Please speak.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
The question is, this case has to be seen in the overall atmosphere that is prevailing between India and Pakistan. There are so many examples we have against your country, but the political leadership from India is silent. They are absent for the last 4 years. Please listen to me. Who will explain for the things happening?
Courts have started seeing atmosphere in Pakistan.
Ajit Doval.
Mahol dekh ke judgment suna rahe aajkal.
Please listen to me. Who will answer for
just now you are talking up your courts.
Who will answer for the
Let's talk about your courts. Let's talk about your courts. Let's talk about your courts, sir. I am asking you, why did the judge recuse himself a day before? What happened in Lahore High Court? Every time, why is it the Lahore High Court that acquits Hafiz Saeed? Why is it that there is a judge that is replaced and the judge who sits and replaces him frees Hafiz Saeed? You please tell me that. अपने कोर्ट की बात नहीं कर रहे आप. You said you'll talk about the subject, sir. नहीं कर रहे हैं. नहीं आप बताइए ये कौन सा कोर्ट है पाकिस्तान में कोर्ट पाकिस्तान में कोर्ट माहौल देख के जजमेंट देते हैं एटमॉस्फेरिक कैसा है आज का पॉलिटिकल तापमान कैसा है देन वी विल गो एंड गिव द जजमेंट यू आर मॉकिंग योर ओन कोर्ट्स 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 3 people have confessed about Hafiz Saeed 3 people have confessed about Hafiz Saeed 3 terrorists have confessed about the training they received from Hafiz Saeed, and you are saying this is not evidence enough, and a forced confession out of a man and that you have exacted out of duress. You are standing by that, Air Marshal. I am stumped and I am surprised, sir. I am stumped and I am surprised, sir. अरे आप एक बात बताइए. You yourself. What are you saying? That means you are saying आपके हाथ काले.
Your slate is not clean.
आप यानी कि आपका स्लेट गंदा है ना. आप ये मान रहे हैं आपका स्लेट गंदा है. आप ये मान रहे हैं कि जो आप कर रहे हैं गलत कर रहे हैं. बस मुझे यही चाहिए था, एयर मार्शल. दैट मीन्स यू नो एग्जैक्टली व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन एंड यू आर कन्फेसिंग टू दैट ऑन द न्यूज आर टुडे. यस, कर्नल RSN सिंह. कर्नल आरएसएन सिंह, मैंने आपसे जनाब मैंने आपसे जो सीधा सवाल पूछा, द स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन दैट आई आस्क्ड यू, उसका जवाब आपने नहीं दिया. You never told me why did the judge recuse himself a day before Hafiz Saeed walked out? Why did the judge recuse himself a day before Hafiz Saeed walked out? Wait a minute. Now, आप रुक जाइए. अब आप थोड़ा रुक जाइए. कर्नल आरएसएन सिंह, कर्नल आरएसएन सिंह, हमारा दामन, हमारे इरादे साफ है, हमारा दामन पाक है, पर पाकिस्तान का दामन कैसा है वो आप जाने. बिकॉज द फैक्ट इज सर, ये 6-7 साल से आप बैठे इन टेप्स पे, इन कन्फेशन से. प्लीज देख लीजिए. देखिए, अब देखिए, वो जो 90,000 फौजी हैं जिनको हमने छोड़ दिया, वो जो लाहौर है जिसको हमने एनेक्स नहीं किया, बहुत कुछ है जो हमने हमारी दरिया दिली का आप गलत फायदा उठा बैठे. लेट्स नॉट गेट इनटू ऑल ऑफ दैट. यस कर्नल सिंह सर, द एंटी टेररिज्म एक्ट सेज, the anti-terrorism act says, section 6 of the anti-terrorism act, Colonel Singh, says the use or threat is designed to coerce and intimidate or overawe a foreign government to create a sense of fear or insecurity in society, and the doing of anything that causes death in. Can you please reduce the fader of Air Marshal Abid? I want to read out the ATA for our viewers also before I go across to Colonel RSN Singh. Sir, sun lijiye, I'm reading it for you also, for your benefit also, if you have the patience. Sir. The doing of anything that causes death, involve grievous violence against a person or grievous bodily injury or harm to a person and cause grave damage to property. Now, all of these apply to this man Hafiz Saeed under your own act of the Anti-Terrorism Act, Section 6 I am quoting, punishable on conviction with death or with imprisonment for life or with fine. Now, none of the three have happened. Colonel RSN Singh.
No, as far as the judicial verdict is concerned, now let me tell you, you are furnishing proof against Pakistan's military. Why doesn't the people of India understand this? Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba is the main military in as far as the proxy war goes, and this is not lost out on the judges. The judges, I mean, you expect to give them give a verdict against their own military? The second point is, and which your tape also shows, and I am vindicated, that look, today there is no one in Pakistan who is ready to fight for Pakistan. There are people who are ready to fight in the name of Islam. And what your tape shows and what those confessions that have revealed is that he is absolutely right when he says that yes, the Lashkar-e-Toiba is very much into this business of global jihad, and so are all jihadi organizations in the world. So many times I have said that there is nothing called a local jihadi group. There is the only concept they have is of caliphate, ummah, Darul Harb, Darul Islam. That is what they are taught, and Lashkar-e-Toiba is no different. But their priorities are they change. Here the Punjabi-based group, they are part of this military-industrial complex, and the ownership of this military-industrial complex lies with the Punjabis of Pakistan. Now let me tell you, in Balochistan and Sindh, the Jamaatul Dawa has tried its best to make headway. Its best to, through these Wahhabi madrasas and, other things. They have not succeeded, sir. They have not succeeded in Balochistan. They have been able to make a little inroads as far as Sindh is concerned. So these are jihadi terrorists who are very, very close to Pakistan, the Pakistan establishment, because they happen to be Punjabi. And remember Anand, that if these organizations collapse, Pakistan will collapse, because there is no concept. There is no concept called Pakistan, Quranic concept called Pakistan, and even if you read Iqbal, whose name we invoke, at the drop of a hat, he also said that the first step towards Ummah is to establish a nation state and then go in for a, for this larger cause of Ummah. So that is the objective. So what I am saying is that if you address this Punjab-based jihadi groups, Pakistan will collapse. And where we have made a mistake in India is you have been, indulging in big counting. So many squadrons, Pakistan Air Force has, so many squadrons India has, so many tanks, so many armored personnel. Bullshit! Bullshit! You have not addressed these jihadis because you don't know your enemy. You haven't addressed Hafiz Saeed. You haven't addressed Masood Azhar because you never had the intellectual inclination to know the ideology that
Colonel Singh.
He is Air Marshal Rao is he's a man of a different era.
Calm down.
He is more of an Indian.
Calm down, sir. Calm down.
No, I'm not angry against anybody. Sir, I'm not angry against anybody.
I know, sir. I know you have researched. I know between the four people here who are on the panel, between India and Pakistan, you're... No, sir, you are well versed. I'm just saying, please calm down. Because you're making a lot of sense. All four gentlemen are trying to reason with each other. But what I'm saying is there is no logic behind letting this man, because he's hurting Pakistan also. And that's true. And everybody understands that. But nobody has the courage to take him on in Pakistan today. And that is appalling. We've got a reaction coming in from Mr. Subramaniam Swamy. It's just coming in on our story. Let's play that out, please.
Two things I would like to say. First is that this matter should be taken up at the UN Security Council level, because Hafiz Saeed has been declared as a terrorist at the UN Security Council level. And in fact, even the Chinese have not obstructed his being declared as a terrorist. Is on the question of Mohammad Azhar, they have taken a different stand. So this is something which could be used.
Yes, and they are saying let's use this evidence. This is just a quick recreation of what actually happened. The journey of this jihadi from the Aligarh Muslim University all the way into Muzaffarabad and then Islamabad and even Lahore. That's what he has, this entire trail. He was there taken to Jammu and then to Rajouri, from there to a place which was used as a transit base, and from there into Muzaffarabad, where he was trained by the Pak ISI for 21 days. Sabahuddin's confession reveals that, and thereafter that map trail comes down where he goes across to Islamabad, where he met the 2611 mastermind Hafiz Saeed. He's even detailed out the exact instance when he came in contact and what he thought about Hafiz Saeed at that time. He was given arms training by Pak ISI, and he very clearly mentions the training center where it was in Miawali, where he says that it was a much better equipped center, much better than what the Lashkar's facilities were. And then he met 2611 plotter Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi. Thereafter, after meeting even with the Pak army and the agency wale, some of the higher ups, he was asked to come back to India and conduct attacks. Do the work, is what was told. This is how this entire plot was, and they know it very well. Maruf Raza, how do we crack this? I'm going to go across to Mr. Kandil Abbas after Maruf Raza. Yes. How do we crack this? How do we expose Pakistan globally using these tapes? Should we not table it?
Anand, see, Mr. Subramaniam Swamy made a point which I had also earlier made. The basic thing is that you have to go international with the evidence. You have to firstly take a national decision that there is no further pussyfooting around in dealing with Pakistan and its terror nexus. Unfortunately, successive governments, even at one stage, this government showed a bit of reluctance in dealing with Pakistan head-on. Right now, that has begun to change, most notably with Madam Sushma Swaraj's statement at the UN. But we cannot just make one statement and then hope to rest the case. You have to go. Do you know, Anand, ever since last year, when India raised the international pressure on Pakistan for sponsoring terror, Pakistan actually, and some statements that came from President Donald Trump and his advisors, Pakistan called its envoys across the world back again into Pakistan and worked out a 3-4 day brainstorming session and sent them back to go very aggressively to promote Pakistan's case as a victim of terror and not a sponsor of terror. What have we done? We have done it in bits and pieces. We have to have a national consensus on going international with the evidence at every space available. Today, India's clout is more than Pakistan's, certainly, in fact, more than a lot of other countries. But the big question we have to ask ourselves, are we using that clout to our entire good effect? If we were, this case of Hafiz Saeed every time popping up when evidence is not provided, please understand, there will never be enough evidence given to the Pakistani courts by the Pakistani deep state, because Hafiz Saeed is a part of the deep state. He is, just because he doesn't wear a uniform, he doesn't mean he is not part of the military establishment. He is one of the pillars of Pakistan's military establishment, and I go back to the 70s and 80s in the time of General Zia, when he firstly defined Op-Topac. He defined Op-Topac, and within Op-Topac, he defined the role of proxies like Hafiz Saeed as part of his strategy. And I'm talking of a statement made by General Zia in GHQ Rawalpindi in April 1988. This is on record, you can check it, it's on the net, in which he defined what should be Pakistan's strategy to deal with India. He did not talk of aircrafts and missiles and guns and tanks. He talked of the likes of Hafiz Saeed, not by name, because Hafiz Saeed was a nobody then, but the likes of Hafiz Saeed who would spread Pakistan's agenda. Today, Pakistan's agenda is being fulfilled by Hafiz Saeed. Why should they go against an arm of the state? That is a question we have to ask ourselves. If they are not willing to, we have to raise the level for Pakistan to realize, or at least not continue to condone acts like
if that's the case, if that's the case, let's go international, let's go big, let's not keep it inside a dossier and keep it hidden anymore. Times Now has put it out, and we're getting another reaction from another voice within the political fraternity that says, take these tapes and show it to the world. KC Tyagi has just responded.
26/11 का जो सबसे बड़ा मुजरिम है, उसके विरुद्ध पाकिस्तान की अदालत में पाकिस्तान के वकीलों ने, सरकार ने ठीक से पैरवी नहीं की, जिसकी वजह से वो जेल से बाहर आया है। अमेरिका, यूएन, यूरोपियन यूनियन के कई देशों के विरोध के बावजूद पाकिस्तान सरकार उसको संरक्षण दे रही है। वो भारतीय उपमहाद्वीप का सबसे बड़ा खूंखार अपराधी है।
सर, अब जो ये वीडियो सामने आ गई है, क्या आपको लगता है कि सरकार को वीडियो को एज अ डॉसियर प्रेजेंट करना चाहिए इंटरनेशनल फोरम?
मैं चाहता हूं भारत सरकार टाइम्स नाउ के पास जो वीडियो है उसको अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर और यूएन में एक सबूत के तौर पर इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए।
Very clearly, the clarion call is to go international. Take it onto the international platform and expose Pakistan, use these confession tapes and embarrass Pakistan and get them to heel. If they can't face Hafiz Saeed and take his name as a terrorist, then get them to do that and let the world take notice of what Pakistan has become today, a failed state that is trying to mainstream a terrorist. That's the reality. I have to wind up. Thank you to our guests. Way over time on the News Hour tonight.